All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my review for the first season, now that I've seen it all the way through, for Netflix's Black Summer. Alright, and spoiler warning, if you guys have not seen Black Summer all the way through yet, this review will contain spoilers, because we're going to give our thoughts on the whole first season, basically from beginning to end for this new series. And I've done a good number of videos now for Black Summer, but if you're still one that's tuning into this video and you don't know what Black Summer is, basically it's the first zombie apocalypse series, North American, for Netflix. So Netflix's first attempt at a zombie apocalypse type of series. And after seeing the first season through, I'm not sure what kind of a budget they gave for this show. You know, with Netflix series, you never know what you're going to get. There's certain series on Netflix where the budget is almost non-existent, so they're like some very low budget shows. And then there's others that are kind of more, you know, high profile and must cost a lot more. For example, let's say Stranger Things, right? Or some of the Marvel shows and that. So there's some that certainly would have a higher price tag, and then there's others that are kind of, you know, you get kind of a different series running the gamut as far as, you know, what you can kind of come to expect and what you can kind of see. So for this release for Black Summer, it looked like to me after seeing the whole season through that they did it on probably a pretty low budget. I mean, I think that obviously there's some stuff that must have cost some money to do. The final episode, and that was pretty big in terms of scale. There's a lot of running around and video game-esque type shooting and stuff. Those of you guys who've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But then there's a lot of episodes where there's like one zombie, or like, you know, in Drive where there's hardly any, and which is the second episode. Human Flow is pretty good for the most part, I want to say, but a lot of the episodes you just have like one or two zombies, except for maybe the finale or close to it, where you have a whole bunch all at once running around, and it's kind of chaotic, or their climactic episode, I suppose, for the first season. So this series, of course, from the makers of Z Nation, it's a lot different from Z Nation. It's supposedly set in the same world or universe, but it's not. It's nothing like Z Nation. It's taken itself way more seriously than Z Nation ever did. Z Nation was a comedy in a lot of the ways, and the zombies in Z Nation, sometimes they could be scary, but in Black Summer, they're basically always scary. So they're pretty much always fierce, always intimidating, and there's even some funny episodes in here, some funny parts like around the diner where they'll go out, like one in particular where you've got like two groups of a couple people, and they go out and they're literally like teaming the zombies. So they'll have like two survivors or so, and they'll be like beating up on one zombie with like I don't know, whatever weapon they can find, and they still can't take one zombie down. Like two people on one zombie can't take it down, which is certainly a lot different from what we're used to in most zombie apocalypse series, where you have slow zombies and you might have a 17-year-old girl that can go around and, kill a zombie or something like this. Whereas in Black Summer, they're pretty intense. They're pretty terrifying, and nobody seems to realize that you have to shoot them in the head. So spoiler warning: if you're gonna watch it through, nobody knows you have to shoot them in the head to kill the zombies. They're all shooting them, and yes, I get this. I've seen this in comments from a lot of people already, that it's very frustrating to see them just keep shooting them in the body over and over and over again, in the torso, and be like, it's still coming, right? The Shane part from season 2. Why is he still coming? Boom. So that's what we see in this one, right? We see people just not knowing what to do, not having any understanding of really what's going on or anything. The zombies in this one seem to turn instantly, like as soon as they die. And personally for me, I'm a fan. Okay, so The Walking Dead went one direction with zombies, where if anybody dies, they're infected with whatever it is, so they all turn. But I don't think that should carry over into other series. That's kind of a weird Walking Dead thing that they did, that I'd say most of the time you should probably do it where if someone is bitten by a zombie, then they turn. So if they just get shot and die, I don't think they should turn into a zombie in these other series like Black Summer. I think that kind of idea is something The Walking Dead has done with what The Walking Dead does, but I don't think it's something that should be looked at as kind of the norm for what you see. I think it'd make more sense if the zombies, when they bit somebody, then another one would turn and it would spread that way. It's like a contagion rather than some kind of air thing that everyone is kind of carrying, and then it happens that way. So anyway, that's one thing I would have preferred to have seen done differently. But they do turn really fast. Like in the finale type episodes, there's somebody, and again, the characters, man, there's almost video game characters. I've seen video game characters that were more established than the characters in Black Summer. But you'll have one person who get hit by a bullet, like a stray bullet or something, and then they turn basically, like before they even fall down, they turn into a zombie right away. And then they just start running around. And it's kind of funny sometimes. You see people, they'll be shooting and stuff. And especially in the last couple episodes, everyone's running around like these assault rifles and Uzis and these huge. It's like, where do they all get these weapons? I mean, I know that lots of people have guns, especially if you're in the U.S. and stuff. A lot of people, own guns and stuff. But they're all running around like these huge ass like sniper, like assault rifles or, just crazy weapons. That it's like it feels like a video game. That's what it feels like. It feels like a video game. And I'm not saying necessarily that's a bad thing. It probably appeals to your younger audience. They probably think it's awesome because they're like, oh, this is so cool. You got shaky cam, you got people running around, you got super fast zombies and people just, unloading on them and stuff, and it's just all kinds of chaos by the end of the first season. So we start things off with Human Flow. I've done a review for that episode through, so I won't recap it again here. But basically, it's a pretty good start to the series. It's not. I don't think it's the weakest part of the first season. It's an okay first episode to the season. Then we have Drive, which I actually like Drive a lot. Because you get like a zombie on the roof and this kind of thing, and even though there's not a whole lot of zombies in this one, it's kind of exciting, and it's done in a way where it looks like it's it probably didn't take much to do it in terms of budget, but it's scary, and there's certain things in it where the zombies can be really, really scary, and it's cool to see. So I like Drive. I think it's a good episode, and it's a good follow-up to the first one. Summer School episode 3. This episode for me felt like it was like it's kind of like a thriller type of episode. It's something where you have these, the kids at school and stuff like this, and it's like, I don't know. Personally, for me, I just didn't. I don't know. I get what they were trying to do with it, and it was very reminiscent of like old school horror movies. You have like evil kids and stuff like this in the school, and they get stuck, and then they can't get out. But I don't know. It just felt too soon to me. It felt like this is just the beginning of the zombie apocalypse. You should not have a group of kids in a high school or in a school that are this well organized and this well established and everything. And they're kind of cutthroat too. They felt like they're way ahead of their time. They're something that you might expect to see 5 years into a zombie apocalypse. They're not something you'd expect to see right after Human Flow or when there's just a few zombies everywhere and people are, the breakdown of society is just happening. They seem like a group that was very out of place to me in terms of episode number. This would be an okay episode for a second or third season of the show. To me, it didn't fit right with the timing that they placed it at the third episode. It could have been cool, but I felt like it was too premature when they brought it in, and it didn't make sense with the rest where people are figuring stuff out. You run into these kids, and they've got it all figured out. Like they've got all the path systems figured out in the school, where to lock stuff and where to go and everything, and their weapons and everything. And they just seem like they're way out of place in terms of the other characters and where the other characters are. So that's the only problem I have with that one. It could have been a good episode for a third season or second season. Even second season might be a little early for it. Maybe you want to do a third or fourth season. Placing it here, for me, it's like a cool idea, but it's something that you probably shouldn't do right at the beginning because it just doesn't fit with the rest of what we're seeing here. Then we have Alone with Lance, and there's some really funny. I laughed pretty hard at some of these parts here. And again, some of it's a little bit. The pacing on the show is a bit strange. When you watch the rest of the episodes through, there's some parts that are super fast paced, and it's like, oh, craziness, like the end. And then there's parts where like almost nothing is happening, and you're just kind of like it's a whole episode, and it's just like, like it's like it's Netflix, so you can fast forward without too much trouble. So I guess that's okay. But yeah, with Lance, it's kind of funny. Like I like the part where he's going against the one zombie that's been chasing him everywhere, and it's even getting ridiculous. The like in the grocery store, he leaves the grocery store, and then he gets a fireman axe, right, at the fire station. Yeah, fireman axe, and he goes. He's like he's getting ready, and then he goes to hit the and he freaking like gets caught on the thing. Like when he swings it back, he gets caught, and then he runs again. So it's like he literally, this is how noob these people are, which is funny, and I don't have a problem with it because it's the beginning of the show, but it was really funny. when, it's like all intense and serious and everything, and he's getting ready, and the zombie's like walking, like coming by, and he's like, he's gonna go get him, and then boom, he gets caught and he loses the thing. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, basically, he's such a nervous dimwit that he can't even kill one zombie when he has an axe. He ends up screwing it up, even when he has to jump on him, the zombie doesn't even know he's there. It's pretty funny. I don't think it's unrealistic. I actually like that part. So that's one of maybe my highlights for the season, actually. It's kind of funny. And it's a ridiculous episode. It's just like running around all over the place. It's like you've got this super zombie that's just like after him. You know what I mean? You never see this in another series where one zombie would just be like after this guy and he would just be like terrified, run all over the place, and it'd be like chasing him all over. Even the point where doesn't it like climb on top of the, I don't know. Like you're not supposed to do that, but it's a new series, so I guess they can do what they want. Then we have Diner, which I said one of the funny parts of that one before, where they go out and they try to get these two zombies, and they literally can't, like, they're like 2-on-1ing these zombies. They literally can't take them down 2-on-1. Which really cracks me up. It makes the zombies in Black Summer look like super fierce, like super rage crazy, and like 1-on-1, like you can't take them down, so they're all hiding and running all the time. And you see a lot of that throughout the first season. Like they're always hiding, they're always running away, and it just makes the survivors look so wimpy, right? Because you have these uber zombies that they can't even take down 2-on-1 barely. And I mean, eventually they get out of the diner. They get stuck in the diner in this episode. So this is one of the ones that drones on quite a while. It's long. Then we have Heist, which again for me is another episode where it's in a place just like episode 3, the summer school, where I get what they're trying to do with it, but it's in a situation where you have these people that are kind of dimwits that are, not able to kill a zombie with an axe, not able to 2-on-1 zombies and do anything against them. And then you have this episode here where you've got some advanced stuff mixed in, like stuff that you would see in terms of a character's evolution way down the road, where they're heists, so they're stealing stuff and they're doing this, and there's like this club and all this stuff. I don't even know. I mean, it's kind of crazy. You got this guy who attempts to go at Rose, who's kind of our like lead character. So and then I don't know. It's kind of hard to watch, right? And then he gets devoured by zombies. And I don't know, guard. Okay, so then Rose takes the opportunity to escape in the chaos with Lance, who she rescues as repayment, and eventually manages to get outside. So, and then the tunnel as well too. So we have the two soldiers, which I did like that one with Spears, where basically you have these two soldiers that he kind of. But see, this is the problem I have with it. Okay, we get the sense that, and again, if I miss some of this, I do apologize. I was trying to pay attention to the show, but it's a different vibe than what I'm used to. It's a different feel. So, and I didn't feel the need to want to watch stuff back to clarify. I'm like, I almost got to the point now where, after reviewing so many series over the years, I feel like it's not, if the viewer keeps missing stuff, it's not always the viewer's fault. A lot of times it can be because it wasn't really highlighted that well, or it's maybe purposefully you're not supposed to notice this kind of stuff. But with Spears, so Spears basically kills, he's being held captive by these 3 military guys, and he ends up killing the one and taking his stuff and getting out of there. Then he runs into them again later on later, and Rose ends up having to kill the other 2 because they know that he had killed their comrade, and so she kills them in order to save him. So it's pretty good stuff as far as that goes, but the only thing I'm not clear on is why he was under arrest to begin with. And again, and maybe I just missed that, and I do apologize if I did. You guys can leave a comment below if you want to, if you care. It's like, well, I don't even know if this series is going to get a second season, so I don't even know. But, it was a pretty good moment when she does that, and it's maybe one of the strong points of the season, I guess. So I don't have a problem with that. But again, you get a very weird pacing in here where sometimes it feels like we're at the very beginning, and then sometimes with Rose and the others, it feels like they're so advanced that they're ready to kill somebody right away. And you think naturally that would be a difficult thing to progress to. Like that might take a few seasons to get to be able to do that. But she's able to flip the switch right away for her daughter and for Spears because he saved her or whatever. And so okay, all right, it's fine. So it's not bad stuff. It's okay. It's pretty good, and I didn't have too much of a problem with it. The only thing is, it's kind of got a screw the man, screw the military type of idea in favor of Spears. But it's like, well, what did he do originally to be arrested, or what happened? So again, maybe I just missed that. Maybe I'm just dumb, which is fine if I am. It's cool. we don't get that much backstory from it, and it's kind of like you almost want to get more. Maybe they said it, but I didn't catch it. Anyway, so the last episode, the stadium, I've described a bit of this here. I'll read the description. The group arrives at outskirts of the stadium with lots of other survivors, all with mega-powered heavy artillery weaponry, right? Let me add that part in. Zombies show up and bullets start flying. There's misfires. There's all this stuff. There's crossfires, and Carmen gets clipped in the crossfire and turns undead. I don't even know. Like, there's a couple characters here I know the names of, you know what I mean? But it's just a couple. It's not that many. In the following mayhem, many others get turned. Aircraft bomb the gathering, and survivors try to fight off the attackers. Now, this part is spoiler warning for the first season. It does give away some stuff. If you don't want to know and you still intend to watch it, I guess you can watch it through first before you read this. But if you don't care, then you might as well just watch. As William cannot run anymore due to his injured leg, Rose executes him with a bullet to the head, reaching the inside of the stadium with Sun and spears. Rose gets reunited with her daughter. However, it is clear there is no help coming, or there's no help coming. And that's basically it for the first season. That's the 8 episodes, with a couple episodes there that are pretty spaced out. I want to say, like, the Alone feels like it's really dragged out. Heist feels a little bit dragged out. The Diner one does feel dragged out too. And so you kind of have the section in the middle here, which is pretty dragged out. And not all of it, I think, is really that good. Some of it's okay. The ending, again, is very video game-esque because they're running around and you see, like, you know, all this craziness. And you know, I don't think it's anything against the people, the actors and the people, people involved. They're doing their best to make it intense and make it crazy, and zombies everywhere. And then this person, we got to shoot you because you're not able to come through, and then they go through. So, and then in the end, you get kind of the tell it to the frogs moment as you have Rose reunited with her daughter. Similarly, like we saw, maybe a remix sort of Rick being reunited with Carl, and at a stadium, which reminds me of Fear the Walking Dead, with this Rose lady who reminds me a lot of Madison. So you get some, maybe that's all in my mind, and I'm kind of coming up, maybe that's not at all what they intended to go with or where they got the ideas from, but I can't help but see the similarities between the two and kind of, you know, Walking Dead it in my own way, in my own mind of how I see it. And it's not to say that that's a one-way street. Definitely Fear the Walking Dead, to me, seems like it's taken things from Z Nation, which, of course, is created by the same creators of Black Summer here. So that's a two-way street. You know, Z Nation's come out with some really cool stuff. Fear the Walking Dead seems to be kind of taking some of that vibe from them, so that's fine. And in this one, it feels to me like, at least based on the storyline, that it's familiar enough, but yet kind of a remix between Rick and Carl with Rose and her daughter, and Madison and the others from Fear with the stadium and the whole bit. So, okay, so that's the first season, recapped in a nutshell. So what do we think? Like I said, those are my thoughts on the individual episodes. There's some episodes here that do feel like spacer to me, that feel like they could have been cut down quite a bit, because there's a lot of lag time in the middle of them kind of standing around or being in the dark or stuff like this. A school, walking around, it's a thriller. It's like, okay, you know, it's okay, I guess. I guess this one's got a 6.5, it looks like, based on IMDb. I'm going to give it a 6.7 out of 10. I'd like to rate it higher. I wanted to go in the 7s or the 8s. But the ending episode was just so unrealistic to me in terms of, like, just the video game-ness. And again, I apologize. If anybody loved it, you know, I apologize to kind of rate it what I am. But it's what it is. And I feel like with Z Nation had that comedy feel. So with Z Nation, you could go with that comedy feel and mix in the craziness, and it all worked because it wasn't trying to take itself seriously. With Black Summer, I feel like it doesn't work as well because you're trying to be serious with very scary zombies, fast zombies, at a part, and horror and thriller and all this stuff. And then you kind of get into the craziness at the end, which is all, you know, dynamite and explosions and crazy, you know, all of that video game and boss mission to the stadium type of stuff. So that's the thing. It's only 8 episodes, so can I recommend it to people who like zombie apocalypse stuff? Well, I guess so, but only kinda, because it's a mixed bag for me. The pacing is really weird, where sometimes it's like really into it, other times it's like drone, and then other times it's like, this is even too fast than it probably should be. You know, like near the end. It's just too over the top. Again, it would work for Z Nation. It doesn't work here because it's trying to be serious. And that's the risk I think that that they've run with Black Summer is when they decided to do it instead of Z Nation, they decided to do a more serious take on it, which has a little bit of comedy in there, like the stuff with Lance and stuff that makes you laugh, or the diner stuff that makes you laugh, even though it might not be intended to. It's just so silly. But then it's trying to be serious and trying to be scary and everything at the same time. It's not quite, I'd say, in one genre to where you want it to be. Like if you're going to go serious, you kind of want to have the whole thing, psychologically kind of mapped out. You want to have the character arcs and everybody. You have to understand where they're going to go, where they're going to start, and where that's going to end. And you probably can't do, if you're going to take it 100% seriously and make people feel like it's an immersive experience, you probably can't do the crazy, everyone's got assault rifles at the end, this is video game end boss shit here, and we're going to go to town, right? You probably can't do that. That episode right there doesn't really vibe with something like, Drive, or maybe the beginning episode. I'm not sure. It's just a little bit disjointed to me. It's a little bit kind of hacky. It doesn't feel smooth all the way through. The characters don't feel smooth all the way through. Their evolution seems to be sporadic, and some way too fast than it probably should be, and others like not nearly where they probably are going to need to be in order to survive, like Lance. Unless he just keeps running all the time. He can run pretty fast, you got to admit that, right? And so that's my review for I almost said Z Nation, for Black Summer. I guess I enjoyed the first season. Definitely parts of it I thought were interesting, and there's some stuff that I haven't really seen before with it. I was curious as to how a fast zombie series could run, because it just feels like almost nobody could survive that. And what they did to remedy that is they only include a couple zombies here and there. Like Lance doesn't get chased by 5 or 10 zombies. He gets stalked by one zombie, and he's barely able to get away, like barely. So it's, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about this one. I don't want to upset anybody with this review. If you loved it, that's great. I'm happy for you. No problem. If it's your cup of tea and you thought it was just amazing and you hope to see a second season, then leave a comment below. For me, I'm just like, if it gets a second season, I'll probably check it out because it's kind of cool. But at the same time, based on what we've seen here in the first season, I have a difficult time taking it seriously and feeling like these characters are real, right? Like I look at these characters and say, are these characters real? And then you watch the final episode of the stadium and you're like, the last scene where she sees her daughter, that feels real. But then the rest of it's kind of like, I don't know what that is, video game stuff. So let me know what you guys think. I hope I'm not upsetting anyone here or beating up on it too bad. That's not my intention. My intention is just to do an honest review, talk about the theme, talk about, the style of the series, and those are my thoughts on it. Thumb up the video below if you like it. Share it, favorite it, subscribe to the bottom left if you're new. And that's it for my review for the first season of Black Summer. It's okay. It's okay to good for me. Probably like Z Nation better. Pretty surprised because I thought I would like Black Summer more. But maybe it's a budget thing that they just didn't have the budget that they would kind of need to do some of these. They had some good ideas in here. They had some grand ideas, and from the looks of things, but it just, I don't know. It felt a little bit disjointed, a little bit flat to me when it at certain times. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. I hope I didn't piss anybody off by giving you guys an honest review. But that's what I do, and if I did, I'm sorry about that. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you thought. What is your review? Did you think it was the best 10 out of 10 best ever, best series ever, better than The Walking Dead? Is that what you thought? Or did you think, it was around Z Nation, or it was worse than Z Nation, or terrible? Like, where are you on the scale here, on the spectrum? Let me know. So for this one, I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.